take me back to Atlantis.
Yes.
We are near the end of season one of the series. I'm sure. When did Stargate come into your periphery and into focus for you? Does it have something to do with Rachel? What's the
Yeah,
story
it
there?
does. It does. The funny thing about that show is I was with Rachel when she tested to play Teyla. So Rachel and I are best friends. We have remained so for the last, God, we've been friends now for 30 years or something. It's crazy. But we were roommates at the time in Los Angeles, auditioning for all kinds of bits and pieces of things. And she got a test deal for that role. So I went with her. We would go with each other to these big test situations if we could, for moral support and just to have somebody there with you. So I was sitting in the waiting room with her when she was going in for that final test for that show. So yeah, so the show was in my life from the very get-go when she got it. And we were beyond thrilled. There was a lot of celebrating that night when she booked that show. We were just couldn't believe it. It was incredible.
So were you still rooming with her at the time?
We were living together at the time.
So you were losing a roommate. She was heading back north.
She was heading to Vancouver to do the show. Yeah.
Wow.
And it was really something else. It was amazing. But yeah, it was so great. And
was
loving every minute of it. And I would just start, then eventually guest stars were starting to come up. And so I'd hulk myself down to, the audition office and I'd be like, Rachel, here I go again. I'm going to try and audition for this part and see if anything comes of it. Here we go.
Oh, so Kate was not your first attempt?
That's a really good question. I'm not exactly sure whether it was my first attempt for that show. It certainly wasn't my first attempt for Stargate.
Yeah.
Because I'd auditioned for Amanda's role, like from way
you auditioned
back.
for Carter. Okay.
Yeah, from way back. So, so I know that, I had auditioned a few different times for different things in the Stargate universe along the way. It probably was my first audition actually for the show because it was pretty early on in the season. They didn't have a lot of female guest stars at that point. It was really building on the characters that they had. So I think I was fairly early on one of the first recurring characters in that way.
I loved this character. There was Martin Wood once said, had Tori Higginson not replaced Jessica Steen in the role of Elizabeth Weir, Jessica Steen would have presented probably a much softer Weir, more nurturing than Tori was.
I get that.
And this character provides that not only as a psychologist, but kind of as an ally and friend to a lot of the people who are going out there and doing this week in and week out, going through to other planets. Tell me about Kate Heightmeyer.
That's so interesting. Yeah, and I love Jessica Steen too.
I think she's great. You guys are cut off from Earth. You're probably one of the only psychologists there, and yet you're probably having to deal with your own isolation from Earth and the Milky Way, while having to turn around and sit down in the chair and say, "But how are you doing?"
How are you doing? Yeah. I mean, I think it's such a necessary role, and it's so. We forget about the emotional toll. We're concerned about medical doctors and people there to take care of injuries and all the other things that happen. But the emotional toll of, the mental toll of what you're going through, what you're encountering on a day-to-day basis, as well as, like you say, being cut off from Earth, cut off from your friends and family, no idea of return. All of these things are so massive. And I loved the idea that I would be able to be someone that anyone on the ship could turn to in any department, in any way. And it was really special that the first storyline, was with Teyla.
With Rachel.
Really, with Rachel. I mean, that was that was a double whammy of I can't believe I got a role on this show. That's so compassionate, so humane, which is also interesting. There's, it takes such strength to be any of the people who get to a place where they are on a mission like this. But it's so wonderful to actually be to embody the warmth, the softness, the compassion, the empathy, that there is something that is, strangely maternal, I guess, in its own way, but that there is a safe place, that somebody gets to provide a safe place for people. And for that to be with Rachel in the very beginning was brilliant, was just everything about it made it just an incredible job.
We have seen so much of Rachel being a badass at this point
Yeah.
for the majority of the season. And there were definitely signs of warmth and tenderness, but we really didn't begin to get under her armor and start to figure her out really until this episode. There's a revelation in this episode that she has Wraith DNA in her, which is why she's experiencing what she's experiencing. They're getting close. And you got to tap into all that and access that. Was this the first time you had shared scenes together on screen?
I'm trying. I think the very first time we did another job together. It's not actually the first time we played. We did another show together called Sleepwalkers. And I don't know if you're a member of this show. Naomi Watts was on it. Abraham Ben Ruby was in it. And it was another sci-fi show about being able to go inside someone's dreams. And be able to actually find the emotional trauma that they're dealing with inside their dreams. And I played a woman who'd been institutionalized her whole life, and she really just spoke in gibberish. And I had stolen Rachel's child. I was found in her house guarding this baby, and Rachel's character was horrified that this woman was. She thought it was going to hurt her baby, but really she was there to protect it. Yeah. So we had already played some really emotional scenes, actually, in these kind of intense circumstances, which is strange, actually. But now it was sort of the reverse in really interesting ways, that I was the one who was the nurturer, and she was the one going through all of the emotional trauma.
Was this the first time you had played a psychologist or a therapist?
Oh, that's a good question, too. I feel I've played a few since then, so I'm trying to figure out which ones came first.
Right.
Oh, because I played the Antichrist therapist on Damien.
There's one to remember. That's
always a fun thing. You're like, you're who? I'm like, yeah, I'm the therapist to the Antichrist. You're like, oh, like, pretty cool. Pretty cool part, really.
The actual one, or does he just think he is?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. You're like, okay.
She's not helping this one. He knows what his job is.
He knows what he's doing. Yeah, really kind of can't take him off the course. I think actually, I think it was the first time I'd ever played a therapist. And I love those kinds of roles, though. I feel like they tap into one of the most interesting qualities about being an actor is being a good listener. And one of the most important. And I think there's something really engaging to do that kind of work, to really spend that time listening, absorbing, paying attention, taking it all in. And I find it very rewarding to kind of play those kinds of roles that allow other people to access things that are difficult, and give them a safe space to find that.
Thanks for watching this clip from Dial the Gate. You can find the full live stream shows on our YouTube channel, or visit dialthegate.com for the complete schedule. See you on the other side.